What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XCN OnyxCoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, here we are at about 1.32 cents right now. I did just make a video on Bitcoin, and I don't want to get too much into it because I want to talk about XCN and not Bitcoin, but my sentiment is changing a little bit here. I'm starting to think that we could move up and that we might be absolved of going lower. I shouldn't say that. I should say we might. We might not go lower. Not that we're absolved, but we might not go lower. It's 50-50 for me. I'm less bearish now than I was yesterday. We did not reject this area. We've continued to consolidate. Now we're finding support at prior areas of resistance. You got to call a spade a spade. It looks like we could be turning around here, but don't be fooled. Don't get your hopes up. If we go down to 74, 73, 72 or 69K, the world is not over. The sky is not falling. It's an area that we've expected nonetheless. It's just being tricky right now. It's being tricky right now. But again, if you want to watch that video, I just made it. It might not be out right now, but probably by the time most of you watch this, it will. I don't want to talk about Bitcoin too much in this video. I want to talk about XCN in this video. So with our newfound bullishness potentially in Bitcoin, might that mean that XCN is absolved of going lower? And I think it might. I think it might. I'm really starting to get friendly with this idea. If we look at XCN here, you know, from a low to a high, you are showing some productiveness on the fibs, right? You got to your 382, you rejected your 236 area, you found resistance, and then you found support at the 0.5. You didn't even go to the golden ratio, which this is, by the way, this is a bullish kind of configuration here. You got back above the 382, and now you're holding it as support. Again, this is somewhat bullish. You don't normally do this stuff. Normally by now you would have already gone lower. And if you normally would have had more bearish aspirations, now you're not, that can definitely make me think that we're about to go higher. And I do think that we're about to go higher. I think that this might be the low, you guys. It really might be the low. Finally, back to that, right? I know that I was bullish here on this being the low. I know that I flipped bearish. I don't remember when it was. Was it here? It was sometime in this range. It had to have been. I don't remember. And now we're flipping bullish again. Okay. It's okay to change your minds, right? Don't let, if you're doing technical analysis on your own, if you're posting it in somebody's Discord, if you're doing it on X.com or on TradingView, if you have your own YouTube channel and you're doing technical analysis, don't let the haters get to you, right? Don't let them say, haha, you're a flip-flop. You should, and it's good to be able to change your mind. Okay, you're not a flip-flop, you're not paper hands in the wind, right? We at no point, first off, if you've been watching this channel, at no point has anybody been paper hands. We've been enduring. We have been buying and holding and buying and holding. If you've sold, okay, maybe you're a flip-flop, right? If you're doing that. But the reason why we don't sell is even at the lows, even if we expect that you're going to go lower, the reason why we don't sell is because, for one, we're at the worst opportunity to sell in this whole zone. What if you're wrong, right? That's the reason why you don't sell. And at this point in time, I'm starting to think that maybe considering prices below this low could be incorrect. I want to fully say that we still could go lower. Do not for a second think that we can't go back down to these targets of 0.009, 0.008, somewhere in that area. We absolutely can. If you don't accept that as a possibility, if you hear me right now and you're saying C-Zar's bullish, we're just going through the moon, woo! You're going to set yourself up for failure because we very well still could go down. Okay, we don't have confirmation yet that this is the low. So what would confirmation look like? Well, for one, we have to do a couple of things here. We would have to break out of our downtrend in the daily time frame, right? We'd have to break out of this lower high trend, which we might be doing. We genuinely might be doing. I mean, if you look at it on a 4-hour basis, it might be more obvious. We look at it here. Resistance down, tipped it down. Couldn't even get to it. Tipped it down, tipped down. We kind of grinded it out. Hey, but still down. Rejection. Here, we're grinding it hard, man. We are literally grinding this white line right now, right? Like it is not performing the same way that it's performed throughout this whole range. And you have to be willing to just use your eyes and see and not be so focused on whatever price you think is going to happen and be so stuck in your pride that you can't accept the data in front of you that it might be saying, hey man, we might be doing something different, right? This, if it was a more harsh rejection, I would definitely have a different sentiment now. But it wasn't. It's something that has persisted, and we found support at prior areas of support back here, prior areas of support back here, prior areas of resistance back here. We're finding support at it now. We have higher lows. We have productivity in the fibs. What's it going to take to validate this as a low? First, get above this. And we look like we're about to. We really do look like we're about to. Second to that, I want to see prices above 1.9 cents. Why do I want to see prices above 1.9 cents? Well, because from a high to a low here, that if I can if I can get it at the low, that's right at the 382. Normally I wouldn't say the 382 is good enough to validate any kind of retracement, to validate the low as a retracement, or the low of that retracement. But with this one, if we can close above there, even if we come back down to the 236, if we can close above there, to me, that would start to look productive because we found resistance at the 236. If we close above the 382 and then we find support at the 236, that's showing productivity at the very base levels of this fib range, and we've broken out of this downtrend. I would assume nothing else than the fact that that's the low and we're looking to retrace this whole range and go higher. You guys, the 20-cent and above prices that we're expecting, and yes, it is 20 cents and above now, you guys. It absolutely is. We can do the math again if you want to. That was fun, man. That was a fun episode. But I know a lot of you saw it, so it's, you know, I don't think we need to do that again. We can do that, you know, maybe on another scenario if the time ever comes. But I mean, maybe we could do that a little bit in this video. But 20 cents and above, I'm very confident this thing's going to go to 20 cents and above. We're at 1.325 cents now. Again, why don't we sell here? Why don't we sell even if we were expecting that you could go lower? The reason why is because this is insignificant to what pump we have. We can't even see how high the target would be because I'd have to zoom the chart out enough. Even here, it's not enough, man. Actually, maybe right there. That's technically enough. That's at like 20 cents right there. But anyways, to get validation, it's a three-step process. First step, get above this line. Second step, get above 1.9 cents, and not just get above it, but I want to see a day close above it. Okay, if you can close above it, I will be convinced that this is it. If you don't close above 1.9 cents, I should not say it's a three-step process. It's a 2 to 3 step process. If you close above 1.9 cents, validated, right? If you don't close above 1.9 cents, but instead you wick above it and then close back below it, you have the chance to validate it still if you find support at the 236. Does that make sense? So it's a three-step process. If you reject the 382 and you find support at the 236, break above the line, find support at the 236 where you once found resistance, you will have this bullish structure in the fibs already that is setting you up to go higher. So that would validate it in my opinion. If not, if you want to just get it over with and not wait for this pullback to validate, and yes, a move down will help validate this as a low because you will find another higher low outside of this trend, breaking out of it, finding support at a prior area of resistance right here, right? It would definitely validate a prior area of resistance back here as well. But if you want to do it the fast way, just get a day to close above 1.9 cents. If we can do that, then I'll be bullish, right? I think that would be enough to validate this as a low. And maybe 2 days would be preferred, not just 1 day, but time will tell. I truthfully would expect that what we do is we probably find resistance here, come down to the 236 and then build. That's a very standard setup with the fibs, but this thing has a lot of pent up aggression, man. You don't know. Sometimes when you break out, you do just run all the way up to your golden ratio, and sometimes still you tear through the golden ratio and go all the way up here. I am surprised we haven't gone lower, but it's that surprise that is allowing me to err on the side of caution when it comes to being bearish. I know we're talking about the upside. It's fun talking about the upside, but get your eyes out of the sky, get your head out of the clouds, okay? The reality is, my friends, we still have not validated this as a low. It is possible, even though we're doing some bullish things, even though things are looking somewhat good, I got to be real. It's very possible we could go to 0.00954 to 0.00844 still. So keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of that. It's very possible we could go down. We look at the 4-hour time frame. You normally do find resistance right here, right? And what does it look like? Well, it looks like straight down below the 50, straight down below the 50, straight down below the 50, straight down, right? And here you didn't really go straight down. Inevitably, yes, you went below the 50. Yes, you did. But you had a rather rapid recovery. This was the highest low from any of these rejection points. This was the second highest low, right? Everything else went to the oversold zone, but this, you're doing things differently, right? Am I wrong? You're literally living above the 50 here, where all these times you were gasping for air and then getting right back below it. But here, it's like you were gasping for air on the bearish side, and now you're back above it. If it looks different, it might behave different. That's a key point to make here, you guys, and it's something you have to expect, right? If you're bearish here, okay, you have a lot of reasons to be. If you're bearish here, okay, you have a lot of reasons to be. But after this, and no immediate fall back down, you gotta call a spade, man. You've got to accept the data in front of you, and I'm accepting that we really could be going up. And this is why, again, throughout all these times, throughout any of the time, and I say all these times, it's only been a couple days, throughout any of the times that I've been bearish on this thing, going below this low, throughout any of that time at all, or maybe it was before then. I don't even remember. Maybe it was down here that I was bearish. I can't remember when it was. It was whenever I flipped bearish on Bitcoin. So we can actually figure that out now. That would have been March 9th, right? March 9th. So it would have been back here. No, that doesn't make any sense, right? No. Hold on. Am I doing this right? Because I did flip bearish on Bitcoin to go to 72K here. I don't remember. You guys can check the videos. I don't care. Who cares? But when did I flip bearish? Because I definitely I don't remember. Whatever. But I know that I have been bearish at least for some days now, regardless of whatever point that was. You just got to call a spade a spade. You have to be willing to see the data in front of you. And if things are not happening the way that you expect them to, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's time to change your sentiment. But if you see enough indications to the opposite effect, you should be open to it, right? There's nothing wrong with changing your decision. There's something wrong. If I'm bearish here throughout all this time and then last minute I flip bullish and then we pump, there's nothing wrong with that. If I stay bearish, even though the data's in front of me and expect that we go to the downside, but instead we rip, there's something wrong with that, right? There is something wrong with that. And beyond all those things, the thing that's the worst is to look at this overall range, assume, because all we're doing, we don't have evidence, we don't have proof, it's not a fact or a guarantee that we're going lower. The worst thing you could do in this zone is sell. Why? Because even though theoretically this is the low, I'm not selling the low, I'm selling here before the low. Well, no, you're selling the low. This is the lowest price since January. That's why it's a bad idea, right? You should never sell at the low. If you were to sell, that was your chance to sell. This back here is your chance to sell, the very high, But if you didn't sell at any of those points, what business do we have selling? We just have business of holding and buying more. You're going to be in a good position if you do that, right? And it's a lot less emotional. It's a lot less emotional. But anyways, let's finish this thing up. Let's wrap this up. Okay, I do expect we're going to go higher. We're looking for those validation levels. Get above 1.9 cents. Find support at the relative 236, which the 236, by the way, is at, let's just see, hold on. 236, where are you? It's at about 1.5 cents. Okay, so 1.5 cents is 236. If we do, and is that at the right high too? That is not at the right high, technically. Come on, right there. At the right low. If we do find resistance at this, we could be set up to go down to the 0.69, but just because we do something like that doesn't mean that we have to go below this low. We really could find support at 1.168 cents. Just because we don't go up and we go lower first doesn't mean that we're going below this low, right? To effectively convince me that we're going below this low, you would have to go below this low at this point, right? You'd have to break 1 cent, because there's even the realistic possibility we could come down and find a double bottom at this low, maybe just slightly below it, and that's still not enough to convince me that we are going lower, right? You have to close a day below this low, or at least close a day below 1.112 cents. If you can do that, okay, maybe then we could talk about lower prices. But until then, I'm skeptical of the downside. I'm rather optimistic right now, you guys. I think that we will move up. And again, even if we find resistance here and then come down, that doesn't mean that we're not going higher. That doesn't invalidate this as a low. It just doesn't validate it either, right? To validate it, even if you do something like this, you want to get back above, find support on the 236. Once you start finding support on the 236, that validates it. Once you get above this downtrend, that validates it, right? And most importantly, close above 1.9 cents. Get back into this range above these lows here, above these prior areas of resistance, prior areas of support. I think that'll be very significant for XCN, okay? Talking about the upside, my friends. Let's talk about the upside and wrap this thing up. Daily time frame here, from a high to a low, and I hope it's clear. I hope everybody's understanding what I'm saying here, right? Why it's a bad idea to sell in this area. Why, right? You're literally at the low. You think it's the low down here, but you don't know, right? So you're selling at what we do know as of now as the low area. Even if you fully expect and are confident, as I was, that the price would go down here, well, it's not the low, it's going to go lower. You never know, right? And it's okay if you're trading with short-term amounts, but if you're trading your whole bag, it's not a good idea. And if you don't understand that, my guess is you've never been burned while trading your whole stack before and been left in the dust by something that you should have just held, right? And it might not be obvious at the moment when you're doing it. You think you're making the best decision for yourself. I'm not trying to pick fun at people. I'm speaking from pure experience, okay? You might think you're making the best decision for yourself. Well, if I expect it to go down, why wouldn't I just get out? It's logical to a certain degree, but you have to learn the hard way. You'll see why it's not logical, right? Because what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? What if you were holding this coin for however many days. Maybe you didn't hold it at all. Maybe you got in at the perfect point, but then you get spooked a little bit and you sell. It's not going to be worth this potential drop, right? You're just being greedy. It's not worth getting in at the absolute low for what is about to come, you guys, right? That's that. And sometimes you can only learn that by experience. Sometimes you got to get the crap beat out of you to learn, right? And that's how it was for me. That's how it is for most people, honestly. But from the price right now at 1 point, let's see, come on now. Maybe get this video out before it pumps, man. At 1.32 cents, I have a feeling that Justin Sun and the boys, they watch my videos. So as soon as this video gets pushed out, they're gonna pump the price because they're like, "Oh no, they're onto us." No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's actually true or not. I don't think that's true. I'm not one of those guys. I don't think I'm that important, right? I know I've got 34,000 or 33,000 subscribers, and thank you all for that, by the way. Very, very grateful for that. But no, I'm not self-obsessed. I don't think I matter that much. I don't think, and maybe there are some billionaires out there watching me right now. I don't know, high billionaires, but probably not. They've probably got better resources to go off of, right? I'm definitely not the prime resource in the space, but I do appreciate you all for being here, right? On that note, if you are looking for some what I consider prime resources in the space, I think if you here, let's look these guys up real quick, right? I do like Underdog Research. I think he's great. I actually really do think he's great. He's got 18,500 subscribers. This guy's he's got like genuine potential. He might be bigger than I ever could be. Like he's great. I think he's really great. Well put together, all that stuff. Yeah. But Ivan on Tech, I think, is a good one. Ivan on Tech is a good resource. Eric Crown Crypto, that's a good one. Yeah, he's great as well. And then I also really like Kevin Svensson. Yeah, this guy, Kevin Svensson, really great. Let me just click on this to make sure that there's no like other Kevins. Yeah, this guy. This is the guy. And then last but not least, certainly not least, Raoul Pal. This guy he's got a lot of experience. The two people that I've mentioned, or out of all these people that I've mentioned, Raoul Pal and Eric Crown, they both have experience in the traditional financial sector. Okay, Eric was a trader. Raoul Pal worked for Goldman Sachs. He was like one of their chief financial advisors or something like that. And he quit because nobody was listening to him, and he was predicting a lot of stuff that inevitably came true, and he just started his own stuff, man. And he's brilliant. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And then there's one more guy. You might not like him. I like Tone Vase. Sometimes. He doesn't have he doesn't have the most like subscribers out of any YouTuber, but he's a very big name in the crypto space, and he also has a history in the. I think he worked for the CBOE or maybe another exchange. Maybe it was Arca. I forget, but. He's also got experience in traditional markets as well, so he knows what he's talking about. He's a bit pompous, I would say, but maybe that's just like his culture. I don't know. Maybe he's just blunt, and it just seems pompous to me. But he's pretty good, and he's got very good risk management systems as well. But any of those guys, I think they're great resources, right? I'm sure not too many YouTubers out there are like, hey, follow these accounts that are bigger than me, right? And start watching their stuff. No, I think they're great. I really do think they're great. I want you guys to learn. I want you guys to be aware of the same things that I'm aware of. How am I not subscribed to Tone? Oh, it's because it's my main account. We'll subscribe to Tone. We'll give him 2 subs. Anyways, guys, 1272 is your minimum target, but not really, man. Right? We did the math, you guys. We did the math. For those of you that missed the video, let's see if we can find it here. Hold on. Where are we at? XCN is more bullish than I ever imagined. We did the math, and the absolute lowest number that I could come up with, and I was being super pessimistic, was 11 cents, right? It was like just below 11 cents. The true like lowest number that I could have come up with was about 14 cents, okay? And that's above the golden ratio. If we go above the golden ratio, I doubt we stop at 14 cents, right? Maybe we do. Anything can happen. You don't have to stop at any of these lines. It could be anywhere, but I do think that we would continue up to about 19 to 23 cents. Somewhere in that pocket. I'm pretty confident that's where we will find resistance. If not, we might go all the way up through the 2272 and beyond. I want to do the math real quick on just one example. Let's be optimistic. Let's not be pessimistic. Let's not be conservative. Let's be optimistic, my friends, okay? If XCN is to move up, and we're not going to be optimistic with Bitcoin. We're just going to be somewhat realistic, okay? Let's say Bitcoin by the time XCN tops off, because I would assume if XCN goes on its next run, this will be when crypto's going on its next run, right? Last time it kind of did its own thing, but now I have a feeling that because we've been moving down with the rest of crypto, I have a feeling that when we start moving up, it'll probably be with the rest of crypto as well. That's my thoughts, right? So we might top off even around the same time that most cryptos top off or starting to, right? I don't expect it's going to be a 2-week process. I think it'll be a 4 to 6 week process, just like I expect this next move up to be with the rest of crypto whenever things get going. I believe Bitcoin will be at $170,000 or more when this next move is over. When is it going to be over? Nobody knows, but I think it'll be sometime in the end of May or in May. That's when I think Bitcoin will be at 170K. All right. Let's not go from 170K. Let's pretend as if Bitcoin were to be at 130K. Let's just say 130K. Okay, that's not pessimistic. That's somewhat optimistic, but still a realistic target. Let's just say 130K. Okay. XCN versus Bitcoin. XCN BTC. Do we have that? Yes, we do. Okay. In that same amount of time, we'll likely move up, right? From a high to a low. What I'm expecting to happen, if it'll let me, if I go to the weekly time frame, do we have all that data? Yes, we do. What I would expect to happen is that XCN comes up probably to its, I wouldn't think it's 1618, but it's probably going to go up to its 2272 area. That's my expectation. Why? We're in a bull flag here. If this is a bull flag, and I think it is a bull flag, if it walks like one, it talks like one, it might squawk like one as well. Here we go. If we put this right there at the base, right, bull flag takes us right to the 2272. That's your measure move. It also comes in line with the base of this range. Well, why does that matter? I don't know. We did exactly that. We found support or resistance right at the base of this range here. The next kind of base would be up here, which also lines up perfectly with the 2272 and the measure move. It's serendipitous, my friends. We're going to run with that target right there at 50233,836. 50233,836. I'm probably going to have to look at that again. 233,836. 233,836, was that what it was? 233,836. Let's go. Let's go. I haven't even had my coffee yet. I don't drink coffee. That's just a matter of expression. That price, right? What would that price be if XCN versus Bitcoin goes up to here by the end of this move and Bitcoin itself is at 130K? Bitcoin's at $130,000. What would that give us? And this is I would say a realistic expectation, right? We're going with the bullish expectation here on the XCN BTC chart, but going with something that's not even where I think Bitcoin will be by its top. So if Bitcoin's at a higher price than 130K by the time XCN, let's just say, you guys, XCN is only at like 10 cents by the time Bitcoin's at 130K, this will likely mean that the target's going to be a lot higher. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say here. But here's what the number would be, right? Here's what it is, times 130,000. $123,000. This is what the price will be. Let's see. You guys. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I've got a good feeling. I don't know. High to low here. 30 cents. If we go to 30 cents, we might be going up to 40 cents, you guys. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't want to get people too excited. You never know. And I want to address something that somebody keeps asking. They're like, what about Binance futures listing? What about if it gets listed on Binance futures? Well, yes. Oftentimes, right, and that's not listed on like the actual exchange. Somebody keeps saying that, and they wanted me to address it. I'm sorry. I would give you a shout out if I wrote your name down. I didn't. I was in the middle of driving. I wasn't driving, but I was just in the middle of not being in an area that I could write, let's just say. Being listed on Binance to any degree. If we come out right here, if it's pumping like this and Binance says we're listing XCN, okay, we're probably going to dump. Okay, we probably will dump from there. Every bullish target goes away if Binance lists, for one. If they list XCN on their futures trading, it's not even on their spot trading. You can't actually buy XCN, but you can speculate on it. You can short it. You can long it. Yes, likely that would cause some selling pressure too. But no, it's not always bearish. There's plenty of cryptos that have gotten listed on Binance futures that still continue to grow for a couple days, a couple weeks afterwards, and they didn't sell off immediately, but they do sell off in a short amount of time. So if that happens, yeah, I wouldn't be too encouraged by that. That would make me hesitate on higher prices depending on when that comes out. But if I'm Binance, if I'm the biggest exchange in crypto. And I'm just C-Zar. I'm just a lowly chart monkey here doing this from my house. They've probably got people who are more sophisticated than me. They're probably well aware of the potential to send this thing to 20 cents and beyond. Why would they cut it short? Why would they cut it short when they could announce their futures trading at dramatically higher prices, trap a lot of people with euphoria, and benefit themselves better? They're not going to get in the way of this thing's growth, right? Unless it's at a prime area where they think that it might be a good time to get in the way. And I think 13 cents they'd be selling themselves short, and I think they know that as well. Right? They're going to do whatever they think makes them the most money if they're going to list it. The thing is, too, guys, we don't have any proof. Anybody out there, we don't have any proof. There's no evidence at all that Binance is going to list XCN, that Binance is going to announce them on their futures, right? There's some evidence they've like considered them. They're on the futures next list or something like that, but that doesn't mean it has to happen this week, next week, or even 2 months from now. It can happen in the future, and it might not happen at all. So there's nothing concrete with that, right? So if you are worried about that, there's no reason necessarily to worry, but at the same time, maybe you can have a little bit of fear in the back of your head, because you never know when that information comes out. It normally is right around the time whenever they do list, or if not at the moment they list. So you're not really going to have any forewarnings, to be completely fair. But we don't know anything yet, nothing concrete. I'm just saying I'm pretty damn confident, man. I'm pretty damn like let's just do this one more time. Let's just try this again. I was only going to do it once, but let's bring this out. Instead of 130K, what if Bitcoin was just at 100K? And I doubt XCN stops when Bitcoin's just at 100K. Like, guys, like if you have a hard time with that, you're like, well, that's only if it goes here. If it wasn't there, if you put it from a lower number, then of course it wouldn't be that high. Well, yeah. But you're telling me you're going to stop in the middle of nowhere? No, you're going to stop in an area where you found support before. You're going to stop in an area that makes sense, just like here. You didn't stop in the middle of nowhere. You didn't find support in the middle of nowhere. You found support in an area that you found support and consolidation before. You found resistance in an area that you found resistance and support before, right? You're not going to stop in the middle of nowhere. The next target, whether you like it or not, OnyxCoin haters versus Bitcoin, is up here. It's all the way up there, man. And that price literally allows, if Bitcoin's at a measly price of $100,000, 23.3 cents. If Bitcoin's at 130K, 30 cents. If Bitcoin's at higher prices by the time OnyxCoin decides to top off, man, we could really be in the midst of something special here, you guys, okay? This is why we don't screw it up by selling the lows, even if we expect it to go lower, okay? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. C-Zar the bull is back. One last thing, I guess. This is the 123 moving average. On a daily aspect, a lot of coins do like to find, and stocks like to find significance on it. You can see that you broke above it here, found support here. You found support right at it here. You did go below it here, found a little turbulence, though, resistance on it, support, and then resistance as well. Even though you disrespected it, you still showed respect on it. Resistance at it here, broke above it, support there, and we literally tipped it for support right there, like perfectly tipped it for support. And that also helps validate this as a low, but only if, again, if those other things happen. We need to go up, close above 1.9 cents. Closing above 1.9 cents would validate this as a low, or find resistance at 1.9 cents, come back and find support at about 1.5 cents, and then continue on our merry way going higher. I hope it's all clear. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. We are probably a lot closer to prices at 20 cents and above than we ever imagined in this downtrend, you guys. I'm excited to see what happens, and be aware. It's a good point that somebody was making out there. If Binance does come out with a listing for XCN at any point on this next move, a little red flag should go up in your head, guys. It's not. Things might have to change, okay? Things might have to change if that happens. But I'll definitely hold your hand once that happens. If Binance lists, I will literally, I don't care if I'm on top of a mountain, man. I will hotspot my phone and start doing some TA right there on the spot for you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.